All right, gift from the gods, the way John Dorsey drafts. Let's take a look at what he did here in Cleveland. The 2018 draft, Baker Mayfield goes #1 with the first pick. Denzel Ward, that was a surprise, pick 4 rather. And then Austin Corbett, who they're hoping for big things from him this year. Nick Chubb, Chad Thomas, didn't hear much from him. Antonio Callaway, that was a surprise choice. Jennard Avery, Damian Ratley, and Simeon Thomas. You look at that, that's pretty good. But you still need 3 years to evaluate it.
Yeah, that's true, although Avery looks like a heck of a find.
Right.
Here's the thing. I mean, I get that the Browns don't have 17 overall, but I'm not saying Dorsey wouldn't want to be in the first round. But you feel almost like his wheelhouse is even, second, third, fourth round stuff. He probably loves that just as much as he does picking in the first round.
All right, let's go back in history with Cleveland Browns, see what kind of receiving core and output they've had offensively. Some pretty big names, Hall of Famers. Let's take a look. 1946, when the Browns started, you had a fellow by the name of Otto Graham. Otto Graham gets short shrift by people who rank the quarterbacks in history.
Never from me.
Yeah.
He's always in my top 3 somewhere. Now with Brady. Brady, Graham, and somebody else are in my top 3 because how do you match 10 seasons, 10 championship games?
He gets blamed because they were in the All-American Conference the first 4 years. All right, 46, you had Otto Graham, Marion Motley, Dante Lavelli, all Hall of Famers. Max Speedy, which is you think that's a made-up name, but it's not. Frank Ryan in 64 with Jim Brown, Paul Warfield, and Gary Collins. Collins, of course, scoring 3 touchdowns in the championship win, 27-0 over Baltimore. Then it was in 1987. You had Kosar, Mack, and Biner, and your wide receivers Webster Slaughter and Brian Brennan, both undersized by today's standards. Even then, they were undersized. But you can't compare Webster Slaughter and Brian Brennan to the potentiality of Beckham and Landry. Yeah.
That's true. You can't. It is amazing to me, Les, that granted you had the 3-year hiatus.
Yep.
But the fact that we are looking forward to this offense as much as at any time since the late 80s.
Yeah, since the Kosar years. Yeah, the drive and the fumble.
That's amazing that it's taken this long to finally actually look at a potential offense and say it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have the actual results as you did with Kosar and Graham and Ryan, but potentially this looks like it could just knock them out of the ballpark.
Yeah, and obviously I've said let Dorsey do what he does, and he knows more than we do. But I would love to see him keep Duke Johnson Jr. I still.
Well, what is it about him that somebody doesn't like?
Well, some have said that because Dorsey inherited him, there's not as much of a tie to him, and he's willing to move him. You obviously see the Hunt acquisition. If you're Johnson, you're like, okay, where am I going to get my touches when Hunt joins Chubb? But I still think, given the attrition in the NFL, you never know, given the fact that Hunt is out for 8 games out of the gate, and the fact that Duke Johnson is a quality player and a heck of a competitor, I would hold on to him because I think if you try to trade him, you're going to get pennies on the dollar for what Duke Johnson is capable of.
Right. He can come out of the backfield as good as anybody we've seen in a long time.